We're team 7, and this is the process where we found our final need. This is our major shift. So it's the results signal working again. Yeah, so say hi to the team. This is us with makeup. We have Ink, Jasmine, and I'm Sabyasachi, doing my MBA in JMSP. Now we'll go over 60 needs in detail. And yeah, I know you're shocked. We won't because we have no time. And this is, we came up with 20 needs each. So the process is to go from 60 to 1. And it's a long road. We have 60 here. How did we get to 1? By trusting and following the process and a biodesign book. And to talk more about that, I'd like to welcome Ink.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, thank you for the time. So in here we had like it mentioned before, we had 60 needs, and this is the way, the journey, how we got the final need. First of all, we're developing a strategic focus. What is it? It's a mission, values, strength, and weakness. Our mission is improve efficiency, surgical procedure, and of course it will be also improve the patient life. And the value of our team is efficient surgical procedure, decreased complication, and efficient post-operative care, and if possible, we want to give also affordable and accessible healthcare. Our strength, because we come from different background, that's becoming our strength. We have MBA student, we have experimental surgery student, and me myself is computer science student. Our weakness, we still lack of extensive and surgical experiences, and then we still in a zero about the medical device market and lack of knowledge of Canadian healthcare system. And then how to get one again? We use the acceptance criteria, which is we have to align with our mission and also considering external factors. So like we said before, we have 60, and then we filtering into 30 with the team patient, and then the net type, and then from 30 we go for 15 with considering this aspect, and then finally from 16 we have top 6 needs. What is it? Here we are, we have the 6 needs, top needs. So we also explain it in there's the scooping up and scooping down for every top needs. And the next is the table acceptance criteria from the top 6 that will be explained by our friend Jasmine.
So we had 6 needs at this point. So to further dwindle it down, we came up with our acceptance criteria. And those were market size, patient impact, provider impact, feasibility index, as well as potential to add value and treatment landscape. Then we also had a personal favorite category that we ranked. So then we were able to rank these 6 needs and come up with our final one, which was a way to improve modern imaging techniques to recreate important soft tissue structures to improve efficiency in surgeons performing minimally invasive procedures, which we then further refined by scoping up and down. So at this point, we had to determine if the need actually addressed the problem, the population, and the outcome. So we did first the disease state fundamentals. So who is our need actually addressing? So minimally invasive surgery is involved in many procedures, those are just a few, and it is associated with many different diseases as well. So the point is that minimally invasive surgery it affects a lot of patients. Next, we did a stakeholder analysis. So the main population that our need would benefit would be the surgeons, but other stakeholders involved would be the patients, nurses, patient families, and hospital administrators. Then we did analysis of the existing solutions. So solutions that exist today, there are diagnostic solutions such as preoperative CT and MRI and endoscopes. There are procedural solutions such as intraoperative CT and MRI, as well as the endoscopes. And then finally, we have an emerging solution profile. So augmented reality is an emerging solution. There are many different programs, such as Project DR, that are used to map rigid structures within the human body. So next, to talk about the gaps in these solutions, I'm going to pass it over to Sabyasachi.
So basically, gaps are essentially opportunities that we look at in existing solutions. We have preoperative CT and MRI, and we know the gap is essentially we always need skilled professionals, and to hire them, there are additional costs. After that, the preoperative image always doesn't match the surgical presentation. With intraoperative CT scanner, we have post soft tissue differentiation, and with intraoperative MRI, we have major intrusion in surgical process, because for an intraoperative MRI scanner, you have to build the scanner within the operating theater, and the patient has to be moved from the bed to the MRI scanner, and that hinders the whole process of surgery. Augmented reality is being used successfully in neurosurgery, but not in soft tissue surgeries. So then we did a market analysis, and based on cost and efficacy, as you can see, MRIs are generally costly and take longer. We also found out that there's a gap in AR not being able to measure soft tissue structures effectively. We've also seen that over 13 million laparoscopic procedures are performed globally every year, and the augmented reality market is valued at 45 billion, and it's only expected to grow. Although COVID-19 caused a significant decline in the number of laparoscopic procedures performed in 2020, it's on its way to rise in 2021 and in the future. To define a specific problem, our problem is basically when there's deformation of soft tissue between preoperative imaging and surgery, which is likely to occur because the image before and the image that is presented surgically is not going to be the same. Modeling the deformation using current version of techniques is really difficult. So that is a problem. A population is the need addresses the problem faced by surgeons who are performing minimally invasive surgical procedures. The outcome is essentially, in a nutshell, we want to be able to increase surgeon efficiency by giving them time to plan and execute the surgery efficiently. A must-have said that the potential solution should be accurate, accessible, and efficient, and nice to have would be affordable and portable. Then we scoped it up, but after we scoped it up, we went back to our original need because we didn't want it to only focus on hysterectomies, but in any sort of soft tissue procedures like appendectomy, cholecystectomy also. But this is our final need, and we would like to end on that. It is a way to improve modern imaging techniques to recreate critical soft tissue structures to increase efficiency in surgeons performing minimally invasive procedures. Thank you. And
Thank you, Sandra, for covering this. Question?
Can you drill down a bit more on improving efficiency?
So essentially, what we're trying to do is right now with modern imaging techniques that we have, AR is able, augmented reality is able to replicate heart tissue structures, like you have your brain and spinal cord, and they are using it effectively for either simulation or also for treatment purposes. But when it comes to soft tissue, it's not clearly able to map it, and we want to be able to work on that so that we can effectively reduce the time that the surgeon might waste in general if there is a discrepancy between the surgical presentation and the preoperative image. So that you can see in real time. Yes.
Do you know how much time is meaningful?
Like doctor, in general, we just want to be, so for example, when there was innovation in terms of reducing complications, they started robot-assisted laparoscopy, but that requires a huge cost setup and a doctor training. What we want to do is try to bring it down to a way that is accessible to all doctors, so that they can we just want to make it easier for them to be able to perform the procedure that they're currently performing. They're well trained, they know how to do their job. We just want to make it easier for them.
And to add on to that, we don't know exactly how much time it could save, but even just like 10 minutes per surgery, it would be very impactful in over years.
And you have any data on that?
It's hard to find statistics on like the time it takes to like navigate through soft tissue structures. So not exact numbers, but
yeah, I mean, like doctor, we try to do research to find out if there is any data that shows that if there's a discrepancy between the preoperative image and the postoperative surgical presentation, how much time is lost. Because that we can't tell, it differs from surgery to surgery. But any way that we could help the doctor do it in a better way would be what we're trying to target.
But not at any price. You need to know, what, I mean, and from what I know, and the surgeons here can correct me, but the OR rooms are kind of booked in blocks, and if you don't save a whole block, you can't do an extra person. So know what I mean? So a few minutes. Like, there's Arturo. Is that
Other
right?
question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I heard similar needs through the years regarding to teaching, to training, to simulate their understanding how stuff are the tissue and things like that. But I can clearly see the benefit in terms of training. But do you think that a surgeon, did you validate it with a couple of surgeons that, like, for surgery that they will perform each day or a couple of times per week, that it would really take time to train on that and to
When we saw the interviews with Dr. Fried, he said that it was really difficult for them to navigate around soft tissue.
Yeah.
And for a surgeon with so much experience, if that surgeon is saying that there's a lot of difficulty in navigating soft tissue, we just thought that there is a need for soft tissue mapping to make it easier for that surgeon, and that is what we were looking at.
But if I understand the needs or the solution you forecast for that would be to have model and train before or offline, and then is more skilled to perform the real surgery. It's not something that you would send a real-time feedback.
Like we tried to brainstorm potential solutions. We were thinking about either augmented reality, which is successfully being used in neurosurgery, or maybe something as simple as LiDAR. But it might or it might not work. We're just brainstorming. So basically, like if you can actually map stuff that is in front of you, could it be then used with the endoscope because it has a light source, and could it actually map it in real time? So these are like potential solutions that we brainstorm. But right now, this is the need that we're looking at. That there is a need to actually map soft tissue structures because that is not being done, and it could actually help increase efficiency of the surgery.
Yeah. So yeah, in terms of the solution, we still not yet finding it. So, but we know that this is the
Okay, no,
yeah.
no, but it's fine. You need to have a solution today. Okay, thanks.
Any other questions? We're all set. Well, thank you very much.